Alright, so we are towards the end of 2020. We're heading into the fall season. So we've been more than halfway through the year. So I kind of want to do a top five worst films of the year so far. And then I'll probably do a best list. But yeah, I'm gonna start with my top five here and let's get into it. Not number five is one that is a very controversial choice to a certain group of people, but Zack Snyder's Justice League is bad. I'm sorry, it just is. I think what's annoying about this movie is I think people are saying, look, this movie's so good compared to the other cut. And I'm like, yeah, compared to the other cut, it is a good movie in comparison to that. But it's not, it's a better movie than that, but it's not a good movie. It's still a bad movie. It's way too self indulgent. It's too long. It doesn't need to be nearly as long as it is, but there's some. And if they wanted it to be as long as it is, they should have split it apart as a miniseries, which they didn't do on HBO Max. It's it's being overhyped as one of the greatest superhero films ever made, which, good God, this film is not that. Like, come on. It's, yeah, I mean, I can say I enjoyed watching it, honestly, but this is not a good film. It, as a Batman fan, as a Wonder Woman fan, as, all these characters, huge fan of Superman. I mean, I love these characters. This is not the version of the characters that I want to see ever again. And I don't think we will get to see these versions of these characters ever again. If we do, it'll be like how we see Harley Quinn and stuff, where she's changed slightly from the way she was in the previous movies. So, yeah, I know some people are gonna really hate me for this, but look, if you like the Justice League movie, that is cool. You do you. If you were one who was donating to charities, championing for this movie, I'm happy you got what you wanted. But to me, the more I see and talk about this movie, the more it just pisses me off. So number four is Respect. I love Aretha Franklin. I think she's a brilliant artist, and this film was one of the worst musical biopics I've ever seen. I was actually looking forward to watching this movie. I didn't think it would be that great of a movie because most musical biopics aren't that great of a movie. There are some exceptions to that, but musical biopics don't tend to be good. But like Bohemian Rhapsody, for example, even though that wasn't a good movie, had a lot of flaws to it. I enjoyed watching that movie. I had a great time watching it with the crowd. I enjoyed it, all that kind of stuff. So, I was kind of looking forward to this one just because I like Aretha Franklin. And, being a fan of these artists means that I will get some enjoyment out of the movie, even though it may not be a good movie sometimes. But this one was really bad. This one was atrocious. Someone told me after my post of my review that Aretha Franklin, before she passed, approved the script, which I did not know that going into this, but I don't know how this script got approved by her because and if it and maybe it's just maybe why this script is like this is because she wanted a very sanitized version of her life, because this is we have a film about rape, abuse, other things like that brushed past. For example of what's wrong with this movie, this is a little bit of a spoiler, so I guess turn off the sound for a couple minutes if you want to hear this. There's her Aretha marries this guy in the movie, and that's her husband. He comes in, walks in the room with a pile of little blood money that he puts on the table. And that is never addressed again. It's just that one shot, one scene, that's it. And that's what a lot of this movie is idiotic sequences like that, where just characters refuse to uh, or the writers, not the characters, the writers refuse to, ever address any of the stuff that they're showing. It's just like it's weird when I say it's just rushed past the abuse and stuff like that and all that kind of stuff, because in a way it isn't, but in a way it is. It's like it's prevalent without being prevalent, if that makes sense. It's very hard to explain, but this is just an awful movie. No one should watch this movie. I mean, even if you're a fan of Aretha, you shouldn't watch this movie. I just no. Yeah. Let's start here with the second film here on the worst list. Sorry, not second, third movie on this list is Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry, I watched this back in February and I knew it was going to be on the worst list. From the moment I saw it, it was easily the worst film that I saw at the beginning of this year. It is just a nothing movie. It's it's not a Tom and Jerry movie. It's just humans. It's human characters while Tom and Jerry do stuff in the background. It's boringly shot. It's the performances are terrible. The writing is just abysmal. It's just a worthless movie. There's no reason to watch this movie. I know that kids enjoy this movie, but kids deserve better than this, and there are better Tom and Jerry things to show them. Hell, the one that a lot of people hate from the '90s, the Tom and Jerry movie from the '90s, that movie is better than this one, and you should show your kids that. I mean, I don't think that movie's that great of a movie and all, but you know, it's like there are better movies with Tom and Jerry to show your kids. This one's abysmal. So these next two are a lot worse than these other films. But I'm going to put them here. So, number 2 is Chaos Walking. Chaos Walking is an atrocious movie. It is laughably bad. The story makes no sense half the time. The dialogue makes no sense. It's not, and it's so laughably bad, but it's also incredibly boring and forgettable. I remember nothing about this movie at all. And I keep trying to like recall in my brain what happened in this movie, and I can't because it's just not there. It's just non-existent. This movie is horrible. And so before we get to number 1, which is we'll get to in a second, I'm just gonna put one honorable mention on this list: Cruella. I would put Cruella on this list, but there just isn't enough room, and that's it. That's the only reason it's not here. Otherwise, this is a piece of shit movie. There's just no excuse for these Disney remakes to keep getting made. Please stop watching them, people. I just want this hellhole to end. Number 1 is Thunder Force. Now, Thunder Force is the worst film of the year easily because it's just a vapid, nothing Melissa McCarthy movie. But it's also a tie between this and Coming to America, of which movie was more unfunny. I wanted to see Coming to America 2. I actually did. I was very excited to watch the movie. And I got nothing out of this movie. Nothing. It was just horrible. And both are just unfunny, lame styles of comedy movies that just need to stop. They just stop. I say these are the worst because at least movies like Chaos Walking, which are way worse made movies, Cruella, same thing, some of these other movies on this list, you know, at least movies like that have some entertainment value. Comedies like this have no entertainment value because they're not funny. They're just stale. They're just boring. It's comedians and talented people trying to be funny, but not having the right scripts or any of that stuff to really be funny. So that's kind of my top 5 worst films of 2021. You guys can let me know what you guys think of this list. Thank you guys for watching.